Peace, y'all. Flizo checking in. I'm about to cut straight to the motherfucking point, man. The black community in Jersey City is under attack. It's under attack right now. It's under attack with propaganda. Yeah, the big P word. You know, that word that starts war in this country, historically, propaganda. You know what I mean? By two entities. The ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, and the U.S. media. All of the U.S. media. You know, I've been paying close attention to the media these past 2 days since the incident. And I come to find out that not only are they putting out false information, they are now deeming the black community, the Greenville section in Jersey City, a historical anti-Semitic Semitism environment. What that means is that we have a religious practice. They're saying that we have a religious practice here in the city within our people. It's a practice that we do that has something to do with the hatred of Jews. I can do nothing but laugh. Because it's just like, that's the best y'all can come up with? Anybody who's been to Jersey City, who's from here, who lives here, who visits here, who parties here, who comes to Greenville to chill, whatever. You familiar with this section especially, the Hill? You know good and goddamn well, this has always been a black community. Always. Always. I'm a 90s baby. I was born in 92. So as far as I've been on the physical realm of planet Earth, this has been a black community. So segueing over to the Jews ain't really started becoming a part of this community until like 3 or 4 years ago. To put a little time period on it, basically when that motherfucker Mayor Fulop brought his Jewish ass to Jersey City and he got appointed as the mayor. That's when they started coming in here from Williamsburg and all this other shit. That's where they started coming in. But we haven't even been around them to develop a type of rapport that even consists of some type of friction or animosity between us two. So that's all goddamn salt. That's all gas. Like, shut up. Like, that shit is crazy. And for them to go that deep and that far and to label us an anti-Semitic city or community or whatever the case may be, that is crazy, yo. See, a lot of people are not familiar with the Brooklyn riots in the 90s. Because you know why? Because Jews were the main reason that the riots was happening in that motherfucker. But they not gonna never showcase that. And a lot of our people don't fucking read. They wait until their favorite goddamn rapper or singer get up there and post a meme with half-ass information. Then that inspires everybody to want to go look at the same meme at the same time to try to get on some information. So try to look the shit up while I'm telling you. And what happened, a 7-year-old boy named Gavin Cato, his little cousin, they were both 7, and his father, they were all walking in Brooklyn. A Jew sped the corner, turned around, he made a sharp turn, ran on the curb, ran the 2 kids over, killed the little boy, and the little girl was in critical condition. And the father was right there watching the whole time. The ambulance was called, but guess what ambulance was called? The Jewish ambulance. And guess who they picked up? The Jewish man. And guess who was guess what the Jewish man was? He wasn't the victim. He wasn't the one dead. The kid was. Do you know the Jewish paramedics ain't even picked the kid up? They left the motherfuckers there and let the city goddamn paramedics pick the body up? You know what caused that? You know what happened after that, right? A motherfucking riot for 3 days against the fucking hysteric Jews. And you want to know the head crack of the whole thing? They ain't even indict this motherfucking Jew. Ran 2 kids over, killed one of them, the other one in unstable condition, and didn't even lock him up. Didn't indict him or nothing. They said the most they can do is charge him with running the red light. And this is the type of shit we talking about. And you know what they was considered at that time too? Anti-Semites. What's anti-Semitic about that? As far as I know, that was a reaction, reacting to a reaction. That's what that was. I don't give a fuck if you was Jew, black, white, or whatever. Anybody that day would have ran them 2 kids over, would have got their ass beat, would have got locked under the jail, and that's all we would have heard about them. First of all, when they first came in our community, they had really nowhere to stay, nowhere to shop. They started building their wealth, right? They built their own stores, their own schools. They bought the real estates and used them as educational hubs so they won't have to pay taxes, right? Soon as they started building their infrastructures here, guess what they started doing? Their economic base, their educational bases and all of that. They started acting segregated. Before you built your stores, you had to go to mommy and poppy, the Spanish people who've been here serving us, our community for years. You had to go to their stores and buy their products too. They built their own kosher deli, right? Ironically, that's the kosher deli that the alleged shooter was shooting out of. They bought their own kosher deli. Nobody that wasn't, if you wasn't a Jew, you couldn't go in there. So it was a sense of, not exclusiveness, but it was a sense of segregation. They brought that vibe here. They segregated themselves from us. You can't segregate yourself from me and come to my house. I don't give a fuck how much economic wealth you got. And the least you can do is have manners when you walk in this community. Some of these Jews be walking 5, 6 in a goddamn pack. It's an old lady walking, minding her business. She been walking this community, been in this community, walking with her husband. They've been in this community for 4, 5, 6 generations. And these Jews walk with their nose in the highest cloud, acting like they can't have no manners, the simplest mannerisms, the simplest gestures, help with a bag, help with a door, nothing. They move in this community and they act like they owed something or they obligated some goddamn space here. That's the problem. And that don't sit too far, that don't sit too well with a lot of us. Plus you got a few niggas in the neighborhood who shooking and jiving. I love me some Jews. I want some of that money too. I love me some Jews. Can I be with you, white man? You got some of those. But for the most part, we ain't feeling that, man. Because you don't come to somebody's house and can't say hello. And that's the energy they brought here since they've been here. They keep harassing you. I'm a homeowner myself. You know what I'm saying? It's very few homeowners here anyway. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, a lot of them got bought out. They got bought out for cheap. And the Jew triples the property value. And then now he makes it harder for black families of low income to move in. Now that makes the community disgruntled because whenever you play with people's livelihood, people got kids, people got a family to take care of. And when they can't afford to make a living or to live or to have a roof under their head, that causes people to be disgruntled. People to be disgruntled with each other. People to be disgruntled with family. People to be disgruntled with Jews, the people who are doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? So this is not a for nothing feeling that we have, even if we have a feeling of skepticism when it comes to them being in our community. We have the right. Everywhere they go, they get bombed in Palestine. They get bombed in New Zealand. They get bombed in Israel. Everywhere they go is a problem. It's a motherfucking problem. Everywhere. Because they use their economic gain and greed for the bad every single time. And like I said, man, I'm a homeowner. Y'all niggas don't know how many fucking letters I get from these motherfuckers of pictures of my own house that they take from their own phones. And I never catch them. And sometimes they even get closer angles. Like you could tell the angle they took it like, dang, this nigga was really in my gate on my property taking a picture of my shit. They will send you a picture of your own house. Multiple pictures of your shit. With a little note on the bottom of the card. It's like a postcard. And they come in different colors sometimes by the same family, sometimes by different ones. And they keep harassing. They'll leave different numbers. They'll leave shit under your door, little notes in a bottle, all types of shit. I done called these motherfuckers so many goddamn times and told these I done cursed these niggas out completely. Stop sending me your bullshit. I'm not selling nothing, man. I be having to go through this every other week with these clowns. They are very annoying and they're persistent with it. You know what I mean? Like, that's harassment, my nigga. Like, no wonder why nobody likes that group of white people, the Jews, because everywhere they go, these motherfuckers practice neo-colonialism. Every motherfucking where. And it's bad enough that white people in general are masters at neo-colonialism. History proved that. But these motherfuckers, till this day, they have a mastery method in neo-colonializing black neighborhoods and knowing how to suck the wealth dry and the economic resources and the culture dry out of black neighborhoods. They mastered that shit. We just haven't mastered how to lock our own hoods down financially. So yeah, I just had to spend some time out to clear that anti-Semitic bullshit that they spewing on goddamn News 1, 11, 2, Channel 7, ADF. All of these motherfuckers are trying to call us anti-Semites, and it's not right. So I had to debunk that shit. Now, the motherfucking shooting. I got so many questions about this shit because there's so many red flags on this shit, man. Bear with me. So many red flags. Okay, first off, when I heard about it, they said that it was 2 men. That was the shooters. That was the gunmen at large. Another update came. Now it's a man and a woman. They said the man, the alleged shooter, with his girl was in the U-Haul truck parked by a cemetery. First thing I said, thinking emoji. A cemetery? That seems pretty in a cut. But anyway, they said he was parked by a cemetery. They said the police that stopped him was off duty. Then they said he was on duty. Then they said he was plain clothes. Then they said he was the detective, the lead detective. Then they said the reason that he hopped out the U-Haul because the U-Haul was connected to some murder that took place last week. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, I didn't hear about no, and the thing about the hood, news circulate like wildfire. So I'm like, damn, I ain't hear nothing about somebody in the back of a Lincoln truck or riding with a U-Haul off the crime scene. So I never heard no connection with a murder or U-Haul. But anyway, so then I start to wonder. I start to think about the last 2 years. I start thinking about the last 2 years of Jersey City, how it looked, how the city done changed culturally and economically, things of that nature, right? And I'm like, yo, there was literally a surge of just police on every block out of nowhere. It seemed like I woke up one night and police was just on every block. That was the new norm. You know what I'm saying? So now that all of this ruckus is going on, I'm thinking to myself like, wow, is the bullshit finally on the horizon? Was this planned the whole goddamn year? Did the law enforcement in the city knew that the Jews had some type of friction with some type of other religious cult, and that's why they were posted up for their safety? Thinking emoji. You feel me? So it's just like, it's so many red flags, man. There's so many things you can ask that hasn't been answered. But anyway, so they say the cop got out the car, went up to the U-Haul because he was suspicious of the people that was in it, so he wanted to talk to them. And that talk ended short because that motherfucker, the last shooter, blew that motherfucker brains out. Boom! Went right up to the goddamn kosher spot. And if you see the CCTV surveillance camera footage, the motherfucker parked so poised. He wasn't worried about nothing. It was calm. Him and his lady got out, and they got out so militant. He pointed the gun, and he looked so, the poise and how he held the firearm, it just looked so together and so, you know what I'm saying? When he got about 5 feet away, now mind you, it was a lot of people in front of that store. It was a lot of people on Jackson walking by. These are regular people in the community. He could have knocked anybody's head off on that strip. He aimed directly for that store. When he got about 5 feet away, he licked the first couple shots, and his lady followed him, and then that's when they went in there, and they stayed in that bitch for 3 to 4 whole hours on a standoff against the JCPD, NYPD, FBI, fucking the task force, ATF. All the motherfuckers was out there, man. Every law enforcement entity, the strongest law enforcement entities in the fucking country was all on Jackson Avenue in Jersey City against 2 people that day. And I'm like, dang, why is it taking them so long to get this motherfucker? Why is it taking them so long? Are they prolonging this because they got their media counterparts out here with 100 cameras? And that's another thing too. How did they get here so fast, and how did all them cameras get here? It was like this thing was premeditated or something. They got here right in the midst of the action. And it's just like, it's so many questions that I got that's just not answered, and it's common sense questions. You get what I'm saying? It's like, dang, how did all this media come out here out of nowhere? And then it's a standoff, and they have every force out there, and it took 3 hours for y'all to come up with a plan to knock down a store. And the thing about it is, the shooter is in the store, about 100 shots apiece, and he not getting hit. So the nigga know how to take cover. So obviously, I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, this nigga is military trained. For real, for real. All them shots licking off in there, and it took them 3 to 4 hours to kill him. And it took them that long to conjure up an idea to, let's bring a robot in here, knock the wall down after 3 to 4 hours. After about 20 bullet holes done went in the school window with all them children directly across the street where they shooting at. They thought about that shit 3 to 4 hours later. So I started to conjure up some shit. I'm like, yo, this gotta be some wicked press move or something like that. All this firepower, and y'all niggas is scared as shit. Cause you know, wherever there's flowers, there are roots. Wherever is a garbage smell, it's a garbage can, then a dumpster, then a garbage truck. So it's always an underneath layer behind the underneath layer behind the underneath layer when you're living on American soil. So you can never just be too confident that this is the information and that's that. It's always a conspiracy somehow. It's always a goddamn scheme, or it's always some loopholes that leaves you skeptical that you got to do more digging. That's just the culture of America. You know, only certain people know certain information, and the public is supposed to be that 85%. That deaf, dumb, and the blind. You get what I'm saying? The ones that get manipulated. So they don't expect us to do digging and searching and searching. Anything that sounds halfway presentable, they know that we will run with it, especially in this social media age. So I got some questions that I want to ask y'all, that I've been asking myself ever since this situation occurred. They identified the alleged shooters the very next day, right? The names and all of that, pictures and all. The brother name was David Anderson, and the sister name, I believe, was Frances Graham, right? Boom. Also, the very next day, they exposed the fact that they're supposed to be so-called Hebrew Israelites. What did they see that indicated this? How did they just assume this? What post did they see between those two? Where is it at? What social media were they on when they were talking about this? How often did he talk about it? How far do these so-called posts date back? How consistent and persistent are these posts? Thinking emoji, based off how precise this whole story looks. How everything played out in chronological order, from the U-Haul truck to him killing the motherfucking cop, to him going all the way up to taking the precise route and entering the store with so much poise, and being able to enter the store and staying there for 3 hours and being able to take the proper cover against all that ammo that was coming his way, and him and his lady in a 3-hour standoff versus all the powerful entities of law enforcement that you can think of in this nation for 3 whole hours. So let me ask you, could JCPD be behind this shit? Could Jersey City Police Department be behind this? I'm just asking. Could it be a hire? Was that brother hired for that? Or better yet, was the detective that he shot and killed, did they have a relationship prior? Did he hire him? Thinking emoji. Damn. So when they said that the officer stepped out the car and approached the U-Haul because he suspected that they were two suspects in the murder from last week, was all that bullshit just a cover-up? Was the graveyard the spot where he was supposed to meet this so-called detective or officer to get that artillery? Them guns and that ammo? I'm just asking people. Look, come back, motherfucker. We gonna get deeper with this. Let's say the motherfucker is a Hebrew Israelite, the suspect. And let's say the detective that he killed was somebody who just had similar beliefs as he did. They weren't with the same culture but had similar beliefs, right? They both hated Jews, right? So let's just run with the hypothetical of the detective did hire the brother to kill all them Jews and they met at the cemetery low-key, right? Let's say whatever they exchanging, they exchanging. If the detective is paying them, he paying them. If he giving them guns and a little extra bombs, he doing that. If he doing a low-key favor for him, he doing that. Let's say they, the scheme is done. It's time to go. Did the man decide to kill the detective because he was in fear that the detective would soon fold and tell? Or did a deal go wrong with what they negotiated and he shot him for that too? Just asking, people. Just asking. Oh, shit. Okay, so let's run with I just thought about something. Let's run with the scenario of the detective was the guy who hired this brother to kill all them Jews. What made that brother the chosen one? What made him say, I want to hire you to do this shit, if he did hire him? If that was the story, what made him do that? Because I read in the article that the guy David Anderson has 3 charges and he was booked 3 times. And you know what all those charges was for? Gun charges. So was Detective Seals or any other motherfucking police familiar with how this guy knows how to use artillery? Did they just assume that he know how to use artillery? Did they hire him because they knew that it would be a goddamn 3-hour shootout because he knows how to take cover, militant style? I'm just asking, folks. Then, when the article finally came out about what transpired when the detective approached the suspects in the U-Haul and all of that, they said the murder that he suspected the U-Haul to be a part of, they couldn't disclose the information about it. So basically, they couldn't tell us what murder the detective was so suspicious about. But then later that day, they had the so-called murder he was a part of, some guy named Michael Rumberger who was stuffed in the back of a Lincoln or something. I was like, oh, so now they found it. I'm guessing they just found some random motherfucker who was stuffed in a Lincoln and they never found the killer, so they just dust his article on off and just attached it to this man's name. I don't know. I'm not even about to say that like that's the facts, but I'm just asking. I'm asking in a telling way. Because all of this shit seems just so fishy to me, man. So fishy. Listen, people, this shit is deeper than deep, my nigga. We're being used as a propaganda hub right now. Everybody knows America loves this equation. Propaganda, war, blood equals money. They love that mathematical equation. They thrive off of that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and another thing before I leave. I'm noticing some, not all, but some, and y'all know who the fuck y'all is. Some of our people are out here playing both sides, man. Stop with that both sides shit. Stop playing politically correct when it's convenient for you. Stop playing fuck this and fuck that when it's convenient for you. Because when your favorite rapper make a song about fuck the police, you're singing it all day, fuck the police. When you see one of our own get gunned down and is shared on goddamn line all day, you see meme this, meme that about it. You saying fuck the police and you sharing it 1,000 miles per hour. Now all of a sudden, when a motherfucking cop get murdered in cold blood, now all of a sudden some want to overextend this concern, pray for the cop, pray for the police, pray for the Jews. Both of these motherfuckers belong to groups who don't have not a bit of concern for us. Both groups. Fuck both of those motherfuckers. Now, I feel sorry for the families as far as the children and the wives of these people. But as far as those motherfuckers are concerned, fuck that cop and fuck those motherfucking Jews. Fuck them. We need to worry about us, man. We sitting up here with a plate knowing that we gotta eat, and we taking half the food and putting it on their plate. We don't need to worry about them. Fuck the concern for everybody else. We need to be concerned about our own. Be concerned with your family and your people in your community. That's all that matters. Our kids are getting stupid, goofy ass, suck ass education. These motherfucking goofy ass Jews are trying to displace the families that been here for generations. This is your community. That's what we need to worry about, man. Stop trying to go out of this to extend your arm to that, and they don't give a fuck about this in return. Stop doing shit to be politically correct for views and likes and all that. Fuck that. This is the time to be real with yourself and the people around you, and especially your motherfucking community where you live, nigga. It's a lot of babies who die in these streets. It's a lot of men and women who die in these streets. The last person who I see hugging a crying mother or father due to a slain son or daughter is a cop or a motherfucking Jew. They don't be comforting shit around here. So stop trying to overextend our fucking comfort and concern for them. We ain't out here, we ain't gonna try to wish death on nobody. But we ain't worried about them, that's their business, let them handle it. They always let us handle our fucking deaths in our community. Let them handle that shit. They ain't on their Facebook pages saying pray for this block, pray for that block, pray for such and such mother, pray for such and such father. They ain't showing up to the wake and the funeral bright and early crying. They ain't posting shit about y'all on y'all fucking on their social media. They ain't posting shit about y'all on their fucking social media. When shit happened to us in our... They ain't posting shit about y'all on their fucking social media when shit happened to us in cold blood in our fucking community. So stop giving a fuck, man. Y'all doing that shit just to be cool and to try to be different and stand out. Shut up. Worry about your own. Get it together, man. We cannot let these motherfuckers neo-colonialize our motherfucking shit. How the fuck you gonna come in my castle and sit on my throne and cross your legs? Fuck them niggas. Fuck them motherfuckers. Let's get back focused, man. Let's regroup this shit and make this shit happen. Peace to the gods and the earths.